self-awareness, connection with the sacred, and commitment to sainthood. We live in a world today in which we are flooded with information of all kinds, more or less organized virtual streams of data, which in turn create their own short-lived trends. And oftentimes, many of us are so quick to call this tremendous bulk of forevermore inflowing data our own. But have we exercised our innate ability to think for ourselves before we gave such and such trend a playground within our minds and hearts? Have we done that each and every time? The question is rather rhetorical, since a mere analysis likely reveals to us that we have not. And before we ever knew it, we are organic parts of trends we never had the curiosity to analyze, let alone make judgment upon, and then reach verdict upon whether that piece of world data is acceptable or not within our own system. Before we ever knew it, we became subservient to a reality we never actually knew. Now, I think you would agree that outside the realm of our own consciousness, there is no own reflection of reality, no enriching life experience, and no wisdom. A commonplace experience nowadays is to download an app onto our digital device and thus make it part of our own virtual world experience. Along with the app, we borrow its creator's abilities, understanding, and knowledge. We do not match the abilities the creator possesses. We merely mimic them by becoming end users of that creator's product. To make use of such app, we need three things. 1. Ownership of the device that can run the app, or at least occasional access to such device. 2. Downloading the app from its creator or cloud. And 3. Mastering the use of the app so we can meet our purpose. The analogy I'm proposing today elevates this rather crude analogy into the realm of consciousness. Consciousness. There are many names for it. There are many schools studying the mysteries of consciousness, and there are disciplines, arts, sciences, and religions built around those schools of thought. During this presentation, I do not intend to favor one school of thought over another. I rather focus on what led me, and can lead you as well, to results in the most generic, general, and generous language. As a lifetime student of natural philosophy, I am inspired by nature as a masterful divine creation, by us, the created living beings, and by our relation with the divine creator. Self-awareness. The good news is that each one of us was given by the creator the organ that has the ability to image a scaled down reflection of reality, examine it, and resolve its often complex original meaning. This organ is called consciousness. Consciousness is not a physical organ. As medical records of some clinically dead patients have shown, consciousness does live outside a deceased body and then hours later returns into the then resuscitated physical body, and it's doing so with uninterrupted memory and retaining all previous knowledge and previously developed abilities. What does it mean to be self-aware? Being self-aware means making use of the organ the Creator has granted us with, our consciousness. This is it, right there, waiting its turn, waiting for us to make use of it. Nothing else to bring from outside, nothing else to buy, nothing else to add. It's all been there since the beginning of creation. What is self-awareness? Self-awareness is consciousness's ability to reflect reality, independent, undisturbed, and unbiased. Now, why self-awareness? Why not simply awareness? Well, because all functions consciousness deliberately engages in are acts of self-awareness. Consciousness, to make things easy to understand, acts as a witness to all our awareness. Unless the witness is present, there is no act of awareness. Sure enough, there's plenty of human experience to be had outside the realm of self-awareness. However, self-awareness is the first step to take to conscious living. Remember this, because this is key. Consciousness reflects reality. As one special teacher, priest, and visionary once taught me years ago, the Creator has made our spiritual essence in His image so that we, humans, can reflect the Creator's infinite light. The light our spiritual essence reflects is divine in nature. This baby light lives within us. But as consciousness works, it is not itself the original source of that light. It only reflects the original light, which in turn emerges from the Creator. How to develop self-awareness? First of all, think awareness. Make a habit of thinking awareness. Make this habit a long-term habit. Make this habit a way of life. Over time, self-awareness becomes natural. The witness is present. Consciousness is present. Consciousness is conscious of its own existence. Connection with the sacred. Are the self-awareness instructions I just presented too difficult to execute? Well, the good news is we are not alone on this quest. As consciousness reflects a finer and finer reality, and as we direct our attention to the divine reality, our consciousness begins to reflect the divine reality. That's what consciousness does. Reflects reality. During this process, a connection with the sacred is established. By virtue of this connection with the sacred, we receive, among many things, the building blocks of a purified consciousness, gradually more and more able to reflect that finer and finer reality. As limiting misconceptions are removed, consciousness gradually expands, and what it discovers is the omnipresent sense of sacred, of harmony, and of order the universe was created with. We are not alone. Commitment to sainthood. Self-awareness is one of the best practices a human being can embrace. Over time, it reveals, layer by layer, the innermost meaning of who we are. It purifies the mirror of consciousness so that reality can be contemplated in its pure form. Self-awareness is yet, as explained, not entirely a self-act. A mirror is, in itself, a passive reflector of light. Divine light is needed to enlighten that mirror, so that the reflected image can occur in our consciousness. We receive divine assistance by virtue of connecting with the sacred. As the process of self-awareness refines, so does the vision we develop about ourselves, about our place in the larger creation, and our relationship with the Creator. Witnesses to the sacred, we are also inspired to adopt a sacred way of life, dedicated, deliberate, and committed. A commitment to sainthood. We understand that absent this earnestness, there will be loss of connection with the sacred and loss of self-awareness. Commitment to sainthood is a call to action. In a world that indulges itself in one transgression too many, those who are self-aware and connected with the sacred choose instead to praise the values of altruism, peace, and harmony. Every moment is a call to that kind of action. Every action is a stone paving the pathway to sainthood. Self-awareness, connection with the sacred, and commitment to sainthood are the three pillars of virtue. Disinterest in cultivating any one of these three virtues leads one to the loss of the other two virtues. On the other hand, sincere cultivation of any two of these three virtues leads to the development of the third virtue. Now let's repeat those three again, because these are important. Self-awareness, connection with the sacred, and commitment to sainthood are these three pillars of virtue. Conclusion. How do I know that all these statements are true? Well, I know because in various schools of wisdom, people of vastly different cultural backgrounds, vastly different education levels, and daily lives have arrived to conclusions similar to my own. This wisdom truly is universal. I am only one messenger. We are the Renaissance. We are one. Peace.